We've got Ryan Hamilton in the studio with us. Hello, sir.
Hey, how
Thank
are
you
ya?
very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you having me. This is a treat.
Yeah, Ryan's going to be at the Wilbur Saturday night, 7 o'clock show. You can still get Wilbur.com for tickets. Randy, is that right? Wilbur.com or get them at the show, but buy them up now. And I have to say, I haven't seen your Netflix special, Happy Face, but I've heard it because I'm like one of the few people left in America who only has one television in our living room. Like, we don't have one anywhere else. My wife and I have this agreement. So every time I get home at night, my wife and my daughter are watching American Horror Story Season 3 for the 80th time. And I can't.
That's similar to my special. It's close.
Yeah, right. You had Kathy Bates dressed as a man in your special at some point. But I did listen to it, so I got Netflix on in the car. I want to assure people I wasn't watching Netflix while I was driving.
Don't Netflix and drive.
Yeah, please.
Netflix and chill. Don't Netflix and drive.
Right. But I did listen to it. It's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
But that came out, that was like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I guess it's creeping up on 2 years, which is hard to believe. It came out the end of 2017, which is crazy.
Wow.
But I got all new material now, so I'm really excited to be sharing that stuff.
And Boston is like we were just talking. You had some firsts here in Boston.
Yeah, I did the Boston Comedy Festival. I did this thing for Comedy Central years ago that was at the old Comedy Connection at Faneuil Hall. It was really the kind of first thing I ever did that was within the industry. I sent in a VHS tape. That's how long ago it was. Comedy Central selected me, and they said, you can go to one of these clubs, 6 clubs across the country or something. And I chose Comedy Connection in Boston because, believe it or not, is one of the only places I had ever seen. It was one of the first places I saw stand-up comedy. I'm from Idaho, but I was doing an internship in New Hampshire, and I would come down and see comedy and hang out in Boston on the weekends. So it was one of the first places I also saw comedy.
What were you doing in New Hampshire?
I had a weird internship, not an interview. I had an internship on a blueberry farm in Exeter, New Hampshire for a summer. It was a public relations internship, but this little PR firm just said, we're going to escape, and they set up camp in New Hampshire. And I lived with one of the owners on a blueberry farm, and I just did PR. It was interesting. But I'm from out west in Idaho, so I drove all the way out here. I spent a summer out here, and I loved it.
From the burgeoning Idaho comedy scene.
Yes. It's. Listen, if there are new comedians out there who are wondering how to get their start, just get to a very rural place and just sit alone in a potato field for a while and see what happens.
I know you were talking about that in Happy Face, that you said like you come from a town of like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And you do this whole bit about being in New York and how people in New York say if they can make it there, they can make it anywhere, but they probably wouldn't be able to make it in the middle of farmland in Idaho.
That's right. Yeah. I just don't think they could make it. They might, 3 days later we go, we found a body. He wandered off looking for gluten-free cupcakes, and that was it for him.
Love that. I found also we had a very similar skydiving experience.
Really?
Yeah. Have you been skydiving?
I did go skydiving, yes.
Well, since that first experience you talk about?
No, that's the one and only time I've ever been. I think once is enough.
Right, yeah.
I think there are two different camps of people who get into skydiving. One they go, I can't stop. And the other people who are more sane go, I get it now, and that was crazy, and I'll never do it again.
I'm in that camp.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The woman who's on before me, Mistress Carrie, she goes like every weekend if the weather's good. She's got like her own pack and suit, helmet.
Wow.
Like she's part of a club.
Right.
Yeah, so she like goes and does it like sometimes Saturday and Sunday. She jumps out of a perfectly good plane. Multiple times.
It was crazy to me. I mean, I talk about it in the special, but the whole thing to me was just the video. Did you get a video of how you're falling?
Yeah. Yeah, the crazy guy with the camera on his helmet, and he's like flying around you. And
it's insane. Yeah. And I remember when he pulled his chute, he just disappeared into the sky, and I went, we're going very fast. Yeah. And I was very scared.
Well, you can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell because you're just,
Yeah, it seems like you're just floating.
Yeah, it's something Newton said. I can't remember. But
gravity.
Gravity.
That's science.
Yeah.
Yes.
But my video is just me me, the tandem on my back, the tandem guy, you're supposed to keep your head back.
Right.
And my video is just him putting his hand on my forehead and pulling my head back over
so
and
the
over
camera guy can see
and over and over again. That's just it. That's my whole video. It's just my head going down, looking at the ground, and him pulling my head back.
I know. It's like I can't help it. We're falling
Yeah.
very fast.
Yeah.
I have to confront my mortality. Sorry.
Exactly.
I know. I remember when I jumped and I went to this place, and it was near Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Okay.
And I remember walking into the place, this little tiny airport, and there was like a bunch of, it looked like a fish concert. There was a bunch of like hippie dudes packing parachutes, right?
Yes.
They're like, "Hey, dude, you're gonna have a great time." I'm like, I smoke a lot of weed, but like, I'm just like, I don't know if these are the guys I want packing my parachute.
I know. I had the same experience. I was in there. There was a kid who he looked like he was just like had a part-time job after school who was packing the parachutes.
Right, yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I hope he gets the right backpack. It's like he came in with his backpack.
I know, you get some transport on your back. You're jumping out of a plane.
Did you get a video too, Shu?
I did get a video, and I did. You know what? You go through this in the special too.
Yeah.
The whole belly button banana thing. What you're saying, you got to put your arms up and your legs up and kind of like arch your body. No, once we let go of the airplane, I was just like, ah!
It all goes away.
And so we were spinning head over heels.
No
yeah,
way.
Really quickly. And so I just remember falling back from the airplane, just seeing the plane fly off, and just hearing me going, and then like the plane's getting farther. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the air. And then the guy finally like grabbed my hands, and that's when I snapped out of it.
Wow.
And he like pulled back, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I have to do this, or else we're just gonna flail.
Wow,
and die.
going head over heels.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty
we're spinning.
intense.
But they got it on camera. I also have a VHS tape of that. It's how long
Is it
ago
synced
was.
up to the music?
I had
Free Falling.
No, it's actually you got to choose your music, and I chose "No More Tears" by Ozzy because it was like I'm into metal. It was the only metal song they had.
Right.
So it's like me flipping over out of control, and Ozzy's like, ah! But, yeah.
Well, I've never gone skydiving, and you both just sold me on never going.
Yeah, you don't need to go. I don't know. I talk about it in the special. Do you wear contacts or anything, or any kind of visual
No,
aid?
yeah, this is a bummer for you. I was able to see my whole experience.
That was the thing. People always ask me if this is actually true, but yes, it was. Like, I was wearing goggles, but the force of the air was so intense that it pulled the contacts out of my eyes. So, like, it's just something you don't expect. You're like, you never prepare for that mentally, and it happens fast. You're just kind of falling, and then you blink, and then you go, oh, they're gone. But I could tell that they were sitting inside my goggles, just kind of staring back at me. And
and it's different when you lose them skydiving as opposed to one falling out in a restaurant.
They're pretty hard to recover after
and you
that.
got your phone light out. And you're like, it's here somewhere, but
just pointing at the ground. Remember that spot right there. Right. They're going to be there.
I remember getting out of. First of all, the plane was held together by duct tape. That also worried me.
Oh,
it was like a little Cessna that they ripped everything out of, and it was just a pile of people in the shoved into the back.
Yeah,
and I'm attached. You're attached to another guy, so it's a little awkward.
Yeah,
and so we had to crawl up. And there's a shoebox-sized platform we had to step out on. I don't know if it was the same for you. And then from there, you let go of the plane.
Yes, that's exactly.
So he's like, "You ready to go?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we're stepping out. He goes, "Are you sure you're ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do the other foot." And he's like, "Okay, well, let's go." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm waiting on you." And I didn't notice. And he reached over, and I was unconsciously gripping the pilot seat. I had no idea I was doing it, to the point where I was like, "What's your problem?" And he reached over and grabbed my hand very gently. He said, "You got to let go of the seat, buddy." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know I was doing that." He said, "It's okay. It's okay." I'm just not used to jumping out of a plane at 12,000 feet.
What an interesting job to have to lead people to their death every day.
I know. This could be the day, buddy. So, all right, have a good jump, man. It's going to be awesome.
Did you go skydiving thinking you'd get material out of it, or
no? I mean, I wasn't planning on doing it really. My buddy just called me the night before, and he had the day off. He goes, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I go, "I don't know. I got nothing going on." He goes, "We're going skydiving." And I go, "Okay." I just said okay.
We are?
I just said okay. Yeah.
And then in the special, you had the hot air balloon story. So you took a ride in a hot air balloon, which, again, I've never gone, but I seem to agree with a lot you were talking about, especially the wicker basket part. Because when you sit in wicker furniture, it sounds like it's going to break.
It's just, yeah. Why is this flamethrower attached to this garden furniture? I think I said something.
Right, yeah.
It's weird. My whole act is just basically, someone said to me, you just talk about modes of transportation in your whole act. Right. And I never thought about it that way, but it's kind of true.
Well, with that story, I wanted to kind of, it seemed to me, tell me if I'm totally off here, but if I could give away the joke.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you told it at another club somewhere.
Yeah.
And then two people came up to you and complained because they were hot air balloonists.
Yes.
And they didn't like the way you were portraying their recreation.
Yes. Yes, the point of the joke is I'm a very safe, you could say, comedian, but nobody's safe. Everybody's going to have a problem with something.
Right.
So these people came up to me after the show, and the club manager said, these people want to talk to you, and he was laughing. And they came up, and I remember, they said, this isn't funny, it's safe, you don't know what you're talking about. And I don't remember what I said, but I do remember thinking, I have finally become the edgy, boundary-pushing comedian that I've always wanted to be,
Yeah.
I'm out here finally, speaking truth to power.
Right, because Bill Burr never pissed off balloonists.
No. Exactly.
Right? He's
maybe cruise ship people, but never a hot air balloon.
Yeah, never balloonists, right? That's a niche you really got to go for.
Right.
Yeah. And you've spent a lot of time touring with Jerry Seinfeld, right?
Yes.
He's like a big fan of yours.
Oh, well, he's become a friend. It's really quite amazing to me. I was opening for someone at Carnegie Hall who was a friend of Seinfeld's, and he saw me there, and we bumped into each other a couple of the times. He was very complimentary, very kind, and we just kind of, I don't want to say hit it off, but he just enjoyed, I think, my act. He was very nice, and he asked me if I wanted to come open for him, which was just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been going on the road with him, when it fits here and there, and it's been just, I'm a kid from Idaho who just remembers watching these guys on The Tonight Show, and now I'm opening for Seinfeld. And
right.
It's amazing, and just watching, a master, he's really, so detail oriented, and he's really helped me elevate my own show. He takes it to such a professional level, and watching just the whole production of the show, the way he treats his material, the way he treats the performance, it just rubs off on you, and it makes me want to perform at a higher level. So it's been really a cool experience for me just to get to know him and to watch him work. And his work ethic is just, he doesn't need to be doing this, but he loves it. He just loves it.
Yeah, that's it's definitely for real.
Right, yeah.
What's one of the valuable, if you can think, one of the most valuable lessons you learned from him?
Man, well, we talk about the creative process all the time because he just really, really loves it, And we were in London, a couple of months ago. I got to work with him in London. And he's a big Beatles fan. And Abbey Road Studios found out that he was a big Beatles fan. So they took us on a private tour of Abbey Road Studios, and we got to walk through the whole thing. But on coming from and going to there, it sparked all these conversations about the creative process, And he's just really helped me keyed in on how to write and the consistency of it. And one thing that stuck with me from that conversation is just making it play, that it's a lot of fun. We think about writing as this kind of drudgery, or it could be, because it's this task that we have to do. But if you go into it going, there's no agenda, you don't have to get anything done. The whole thing is that it's fun, and then it's play. So he sits down every day, I think, or just about, and has this playtime. He sets it all up, and he's just having fun in his mind, coming up with ideas, things that are interesting, and taking it from a task to making it really fun. That's just one thing. But we have so many conversations like this. He just loves to talk about it. So that's one thing that sticks with me. But as you can imagine, it's just such a valuable experience for a young comedian to have.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just I just feel like I'm learning constantly. I just I want to record these conversations, because I'm this is something that would benefit so many people. And he's just a sharp guy. He's very family oriented. The way he lives his life is also a great example. So yeah, that's just been a really cool experience.
Yeah, he's I read about you, and people keep saying you're a clean comic, clean. And I never really, when I watch a comedian, I don't think about that at all. But has that ever inhibited you from like getting gigs or anything like that? Because what does that mean to you? Like you don't swear.
Yeah, to me,
I
think it's just kind of naturally who I am. It's never a decision I made. Like I want to be a clean comedian. It was just kind of like this. The comedians that I always kind of admired and looked up to took material and shaped it for a wide audience, and I like that kind of creative challenge. And it felt natural to me. It fits for who I am, and so it just works. And no, it never has inhibited me with work. In fact, it opens up more doors because I can work anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's not like that's why I made the decision, but it is kind of a nice perk. Like, I can go anywhere. But, it's a label that comes with it. People have to label things somehow.
Yeah.
And so I'm a clean comedian. But my favorite thing to hear is I get a group of people who come up after a show and they go, oh, we like this. And someone will go, and you were clean, and someone else in the crowd who maybe isn't a fan of clean or whatever will say, no, he wasn't. And then they'll have this realization where they go, I can't believe I liked this, like you made me laugh. But that if I get people to forget that it's clean, that's my ultimate goal. I just want people
is it funny?
Is it funny first?
Yeah.
And sometimes people, I think, go, oh, I'm not going to enjoy that because it's labeled a certain way. But I'm not going for clean. I'm going for funny first,
right. Yeah, exactly.
And it comes out clean, yeah.
Well, go see The Funny at the Wilbur Theater. Whether it's clean or not, doesn't matter. It's funny. And Saturday night, 7 o'clock, the Wilbur Theater. You can go to wilbur.com to get tickets. Ryan Hamilton, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're back in Boston real quick. Any place that when you come back to Boston you like to go to, check out, frequent when you come back here, restaurant,
man,
bar?
I mean, I always just try and grab some seafood. I love doing that. I'm going to Legal Seafood tonight. And
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't know. I take a walk around. I just like being here. Everything's comedy for me. So it's all comedy. I would go down to the Comedy Studio. I think it's moved recently. I used to go to Faneuil Hall, and that's not there. Everything's changed in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's different. Very different. Well, looking forward to seeing you Saturday night, Wilbur Theater, 7 o'clock, wilbur.com for tickets.
Thanks, man.
Ryan Hamilton, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.